Slaptail Squad, assemble.
If you're listening to this, you remember the great Slaptail Nation, my nation. And who am I? I'm the Beaveman, master of the universe, creator of all things great and small, and Lord High Commander of the great Slaptail Nation army. Here with me today, live in the Beaver Den, with an ass so fine it'll make you want to violate the first commandment, the Padme to my Darth Vader, the evil into my Skeletor, and the Harley Quinn to my ever so sane Joker. I give you the heart-shaped ass that is the Swan. Say hello, Swan.
Hello, Swan.
How's it going?
It's going. I just made some balls.
Yeah, I saw that you were rolling balls.
I was rolling balls.
Fascinating. Great job.
Yeah. Go me.
Never
Like-
been
like
so
the balls.
jealous of
Peanut butter
food
balls?
before.
Yeah.
Always rolling my balls.
No one's rolling your balls.
Always
Sorry.
rolling the balls. Also with us today here in the Beaver Den, live. Although it's live for us. It's not live for you. It's a podcast. Follow along. Is Katy from Katy Needs A Life. It's not a sitcom.
Hi. No, it's not, but it could be.
It could be.
Ooh, maybe it should be.
Yeah,
Ooh.
could you just imagine it? You know, like the intro alone could be so good. I think that it'd be like me like fumbling like a basket of rolls and then being like and then it says like Katy May in big bold font. And then it gets in, I don't know.
You want to montage the beginning. Okay, so
Yeah.
so one scene is you fumbling a bunch of dinner rolls. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. And then the next scene is David also fumbling dinner rolls and then being like, and then it says, you know, his name. I think that there's going to be a lot of dinner rolls involved.
Now you gotta. So now you. Okay, so now that's your two primary cast members. I guess you got to have some secondary goofballs.
Oh, yeah. I mean,
Now,
there's,
are they also going to be bumbling roles? Or you guys all work? Okay, is this like a Thanksgiving dinner, or is this your actual job where you're like tossing rolls around?
no, I mean, it's like more of like making dinner or just generally being kind of like hungry midday. And then like there would also be like the secondary characters because we've also got like Jake Simmons and Reggie Myers in our band. And I imagine them like in this like opening sequence, like the opening of Full House or something, like they're like back to back with their arms crossed, looking like very cool.
Like
Maybe
Joey and Uncle Joey and
Right,
I don't
like-
remember the other guy. What was his name?
Joey and Jesse.
Jesse.
Sure, there
Jesse
we
with
go.
his hair.
Mhm.
There
Yeah.
we go.
Yeah.
Okay.
I could, yeah. Either of them could be the Joey or the Jesse, but those would be their roles, and they wouldn't be juggling dinner roles because they don't live with us.
Okay, so
Mhm.
now are they going to be your quirky neighbors who are in your band? How far away are they from you then? If they're seeing you all the time, I mean, they got to be somewhat.
Next door, across
Yeah,
the street.
I mean,
or,
like,
you know,
we
like
just
around the
have-
block or.
Live on a KNAL compound.
Okay,
Yeah,
all right.
it's a funny show, but it's also quite cerebral.
Oh wow, she's
Yeah.
throwing-
She's taking it
throwing some
deep
big
already.
words out there. So it's going to be on a penal compound.
A penal.
No.
A
KNAL,
canal.
like Katy Needs a Life, but KNAL, KNAL.
Okay,
Yeah.
It's like
Not
a
to-
canal,
not to
a
be-
canal, a canal
So-
cul-de-sac.
so not a
Yeah.
penal colony, not an anal colony. It's
No.
it's a canal, not like
Yeah.
canine, canal.
Canal.
Best of all worlds.
Can it be a canal cul-de-sac?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So are you?
like a-
So is everything in this show like if you have a canal that's turning outside? Is that spelled with a K? We have a canal, a
N-
canal,
No, it'd be the Canal Canal.
be a canal canal.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
And a canal compound.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Canal grocery store. We'd probably have maybe like a Canal general store.
Now, what would you do if then David one night asks you for some canal?
I don't know. I would have to. I don't know. Maybe I don't know.
He'd have to submit a request to the committee.
Yeah. There's a whole
You can
there's a whole
HOA.
Have a
council.
board meeting.
Yeah.
Now, are you the president of this board?
Oh no! I mean, that's a lot of responsibility, and that's like a lot of like numbers and stuff. I imagine there'd be some accounting involved or
That's
something.
the treasurer's job.
Oh yeah,
So
I mean,
president just sits back and like does their thing, right? And you get to be like in charge and like boss people around. Is that you?
I mean, I guess I am like, yeah, you know what? I probably,
fuck it.
I'd wear sunglasses and be cool. And people would like me.
Now, I'm just imagining, if you will, I'm imagining that there's a lot of plants growing in this community, this KNAL community, this KNAL compound. I'm also imagining that
Succulents? Or are we talking like medicinal plants?
just in general. Now, are you making, in this particular scenario, is the house constructed of bricks that you've made naturally, like with poop and mud and straw? Is that?
No, I mean, I feel like we would just, I mean, I guess like probably, you know, 'cause it's like you don't just like find bricks places, but I guess like, you know, in like the ideal circumstance, we would just kind of take over like a place that's already pretty built but there's nobody there. And then it's like, this is our nation, the KNAL cul-de-sac.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So this is not something that this is not like a hippie compound, or not even a hippie compound. I would, the compounds, where,
Like a cult?
no.
No,
Do you remember that show?
Like
You remember
Melrose
that guy?
Place?
No.
No.
No. Do you remember the guy who did the show about, Super Size Me? Remember that guy?
Yes. Yeah.
He did a show. It was called like First 30 Days or something like that, or 30 Days. And he would come up with these ideas and people would go do them. And one of them was he took like two people who lived, I think, in like New York City, and he took them to a compound where these people like made gas out of vegetable oils and made their houses out of poop and composted everything. And they didn't wear deodorant and all these things.
That sounds stinky.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, one of them was making
Like,
comments about how people were stinky.
that's like the one I mean, like there's like multiple setbacks, but like one like really blaring setback to time travel is that people smelled really bad.
But do you think you got used to your smell back then? You're like,
Yeah,
smell
but,
it so
but
bad
she's
that
talking
you're-
about time travel. If we went
Right,
back,
right,
we'd be like,
right.
holy shit.
And
Yeah.
like I might debate that people never really got used to being covered in other people's poop buckets.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
I agree 100%. Like
Yeah.
all
but-
those, Victorian outfits and everything where they got all the corsets and that would be a stinky bad time in there.
Yeah, it's like, what, are you just gonna like go change your outfit? Like, no, it took 2 hours to put on. And like you were on your way to your horse to go to another city that's like 9 hours away.
Mhm.
So like,
Yeah.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. I like where you're thinking because I have had that same thought myself. Not about time travel specifically, but when you look at period pieces, one of the things that always annoys me about period pieces is I'm an ass man. So you can't see it.
It's all bustled
It's
up.
it's all covered up. You have no idea if this person has a nice ass or not. That's not the only problem. The other problem is you're like, okay, if I was back in those time frames, if this woman was very attractive, it probably doesn't smell really good down there, and neither do I.
Mhm.
Terrible. Period pieces. You're like, yeah, stop making them look hot. They probably wasn't that way.
No, I think that there's only like there's this movie that came out in the early 2000s called Perfume, and it has like Alan Rickman
Ooh,
in it.
R.I.P.
Yeah. And I feel that they did a good job depicting like what 17th century France smelled like, because they like made it seem like, wow, everybody smells really bad. It turns into like a story of murder or whatever, as
Nice.
most horror stories
Murder.
do. But yeah. And that's what really got the old noggin thinking about how bad it probably smelled in Paris in the like 1600s or something. And then I like traveled to Scotland once, and they were like, people threw poop over the railings and stuff. And I'm like, I'm privy to the fact that we probably did that here.
She said privy. I'm privy.
Yeah, but,
fact.
like, it's like, ooh.
For you not intelligent audience members, it was like a play on words. She said privy, which is also what they shat, the privy. Their toilet was the privy.
They call it the loo.
Yeah, good point. Excellent point.
So time travel, we're not going back too far because we don't want to go back to stinky times.
No, but that's really not that far back.
Mm-mm.
Mm-mm.
Yeah.
No, I think about it even, and like the Industrial Revolution era, like the like early 1900s of it all, and it's like stinky,
Yeah.
stinky. Like Gangs of New York, all of them look stinky. They looked
Mhm.
like all their shirts were like stained and stuff,
Pit
and it's like I
stained,
get it,
yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
but it's like I also like don't want to go back there.
Yeah, what's really crazy is during that time frame, they did such a bad job with like all the children had, rickets and scurvy and all that other stuff. Did you know that back in the day, they thought that one of the ways to make sure the children got sun, you'll have to look this up, is they made steel cages on the outsides of their apartment buildings and the little kids would go out and sit in them
Yeah.
to try to get sun.
That's terrible.
Yeah. That was like during World War II or something. I've seen the pictures and I just think that it's terrifying to think that you're like putting your baby out there. Like it's just like crawling around looking at the 30 stories below it or something.
Mm-hmm.
Like, ooh.
Yeah, life is pretty cheap back then. I mean, I wouldn't say it's not. It's considered pretty cheap. It's pretty cheap now, too.
Yeah.
Unfortunately. Now it's just that everybody's like, murder's fine.
That-
Well, we have too many other things to concentrate on. Murder, it's fine. It's fine. Not a big deal.
I feel like murder happened a lot because there's like the bog bodies and like a lot of those people were murdered. But like the term serial killer didn't exist until like the 70s or something. So that show Mindhunter's all about.
It's a good book. I read it. It's really good.
Yeah, I only saw the show. I'm like,
The book is very good. Very, very good. And I'm on reading Journey into Darkness right now.
Is that like more of that
Yeah,
book?
that guy wrote a shit. Him and his partners that he worked with all wrote like a ton of books.
Are they allowed to do that with all of their secrets and stuff?
Well, they're not really. They're telling stuff that's already been, cases that have already been out there that are common knowledge. They're part of it is, as I understand it, and which really makes a lot of sense to me, is they actually wrote a manual. I guess it's a manual or a book, and I hope I can get it. But when you talk about medical psychiatry and psychology, they use a book called the DSM. Diagnostic Statistical Manual. I don't know which one they're on now. I don't know if it's on 7 or 8 or whatever. So when you look in there, let's say you have somebody that has the symptoms and the mannerisms of someone who has, say, a personality disorder. You look at the DSM, okay, they meet all this criteria. This is one of their diagnoses, personality disorder. Fine. Now, when they look at people who commit murder and they're trying to psychologically evaluate them, they're looking at it from a medical, psychological, or psychiatric standpoint, as opposed to looking at it from a criminal standpoint. What they don't realize is criminals will tell you whatever they want you to hear. Regular patients do that too. It's not unique. So like when they go out for parole or they go out for whatever. So this other manual that they have is specifically focused on the criminal mind as opposed to just their medical diagnosis, psychology, psychiatry.
So then they need one that overlaps the gray area of where those two meet in the middle because they do, right?
Well, I think part of it is if you look at the early years, and why Mindhunter's a good book and Journey into Darkness is a good book, is initially when they started talking about profiling, and you can see this in the movie Mindhunter, they're like, what the fuck is that? That doesn't even make any sense. That's hocus pocus. It's not hard evidence or whatever. Until they could show that they're like, oh no, they're predicting what these patterns are. And it just takes time for them to learn how to do it. And of course, they have to train other people to do it. So the stuff that they write for psychology doesn't match that. Yet when you go to court back in the day, they would listen to what a psychologist or a psychiatrist said, and they wouldn't even have the profilers testify because that was not considered expert opinion because it was not in mainstream yet. Whereas now you could have a profiler who would testify and they would be an expert.
So what's that? I don't know enough about Mindhunters because I didn't watch that or read any of that.
I would totally watch it again with you if you wanted to watch it.
Okay.
Pretty good.
Yeah, I might have to do that.
And it came out like what, 2019 or something? And it's just now like blowing up and everybody's watching it.
I don't know. I mean, I watched it like a few years ago. It was probably one of the things I watched during the pandemic. But like I'm a true crime girly. And
Nice.
yep. And the guy that they cast for Ed Kemper was like
Perfect.
very much
He was
Ed Kemper.
He was Ed Kemper. He did
Yeah.
a great job.
So
Great job.
can't praise the show enough. The writing is so good, and I'll have to read the book. But like right now, we're in a book club type of thing. I have to start it. The Swan is like a third through the book. So
No, I'm only like 7 chapters in.
Swan reads.
that's it.
Yeah. We got, well, she talked me into it. You know, you used to watch or listen to the podcast, the Morbid podcast. So she sent, and I was like, we used to too in the beginning. And then you stopped listening to it because it had so many ads.
Yeah, too many
But
ads.
she listened to do it on Amazon,
Yeah.
right? Where there's no ads. So, okay, that's cool. So I was listening to the episode that she sent to me, and it was the one about the Wonderland murders.
Mhm.
And during it, there was an ad for the book that was written, like that the person from Morbid wrote, and it's called The Butcher and the Wren. So I got it from the library. So
Cool.
yeah.
Yeah, I listened to Case File and They Walk Among Us. Those are the two that I listen to that are true crime. And then my favorite of all time podcast is Last Podcast on the Left. That's what I listen to.
Did you read their book?
The LPOTL.
I don't know. It was the one that I can't remember what it was called. I'm sure that's what it was. I don't.
The Last Podcast on the Left, guys.
Yeah. It's
Yeah,
like,
it's like a coffee table book. I was gonna order it till they said it's kind of like a coffee table book. My son has it. I bought it for him.
I liked
I
it.
haven't read it.
yeah.
I'll have to read it.
The illustrations are pretty good, and it's written in a way that's kind of unique to them, where it's like they're doing the podcast and it's a transcript of it or something. Yeah. But
Yeah, they're very lucky. If you can nail down a Marcus, you got it going on.
yeah.
If you are the Marcus, good for you. So I'm not the Marcus. I wish I was. Well, if I had time, I think I probably would be.
Yeah.
Something to aspire to. God damn it. Having a regular job is the
God,
worst.
it's such a hindrance on
Worst.
life fun things.
It literally is. You know, if we only had to work 3 days a week, can you imagine the type of art, music, entertainment, etc., that people would actually come up with instead of being under the thumb of having to work a regular job their entire life? Obviously, not everybody's going to do it, but I think that we would actually see more of a true renaissance again if we didn't have to work 3 days, if we didn't have to work 5 days a week.
Yeah. I'd like to be paid for existing.
Yeah. Why not?
Yeah. I mean, it's like, I'll do cool stuff. Just trust me.
Yeah, I trust
Exactly.
you. I trust you.
I'll do cool stuff. I promise. I mean, like, I've just come onto a lot of open time. And it's interesting because, like, this summer has been very busy. Starting in June, like at my previous job, things were like really crazy. And then I was preparing for a couple different shows, like some cover sets with the bands that I'm in and some productions. And like, it's been nonstop until just the other day. And I was really worried about what it was going to be like when everything was like done and it was like silence and I didn't have anything on the books anymore. And honestly, it's been really nice.
Yeah, I mean, you deserve to take. I mean, everybody deserves to have some sort of break. I mean, obviously not like an unexpected one where you're like, you're fired.
Yeah.
You know, nothing like that. But no, people need to be. We're literally working to die.
And we don't even think about vacation. Like you stress out about vacation, and then you're on vacation, if you even get one, for a week or 10 days or whatever, 3 days, even whatever. And you think about how much shit is going on at home or at work and what you have to make up when you're off. I know you didn't, but like, that's what I'm like, oh, what about the dog? And what about the whatever? And yeah,
The dog was in good hands.
the dog was in good hands.
Yeah. I mean, everything is very stressful when it comes to like vacation isn't something that we prioritize, but we need to be like thinking about those breaks so that we can, like, if we really care about our jobs and stuff, then we need to be able to take breaks and like give ourselves the chance to recharge before we go back at it. Otherwise, we're burning out our batteries and then giving like limited time to what we are investing in.
Yeah, and you shouldn't have to feel guilty for taking a break,
I know.
even when you're at work. Your breaks are timed.
Yeah,
So
mine are.
you're like, oh crap, only got 15 minutes, time to get back. I mean, like you should be able to get up and go pee when you need to.
Well,
Or-
because that, they also say, oh, we need you to see this many patients per hour. I'm like, okay, well, you know what? That's
I'm not a robot.
Not every patient takes this X amount of
Right.
time.
And a patient is not a robot or a car part, so you can't just put everybody into the 5-minute, 10-minute block.
No, it's like crazy. Like the care and stuff should be like, each individual person. But I know that in like multiple divisions and stuff, it's like that. Like I knew of a pharmaceutical company that was like family owned, and then it got purchased, and the outlook for the people who were working for the company was like 150 patients a day that they were like going through their stuff. And it's like, how are you being sure that like all of the prescriptions that are going out are accurate? Like, are you even able to really check the numbers at that pace?
Yeah. Well, and there's a joke I'm going to do tomorrow just because, I mean, I'll probably do it. I haven't decided if I'm going to actually do it or not, because one of the comedians on tomorrow who's featuring is a pharmacist, and I wrote a pharmacist joke just to fuck with him.
Well, by the time you hear this, folks, this will be long
Yeah,
over. He'll even have done it or didn't do it, and we will maybe update you, but maybe we'll forget about it by then. Do you want to try it out on us now, though? Or will
No, I'm just going to tell you the premise of the joke is this: is I do a lot of pausing in my comedy because my comedy is pretty gallows humor type. But the start is this: I just go, I think pharmacists are just life-size Pez dispensers.
I mean,
the joke isn't over.
Okay.
There's a pause.
I'm not good with pauses.
Yeah, and then I say for Oxy.
Oh.
And then I just go over it. Basically, then what I say is like, you know how much it would suck to go to school for 8 years just to find out that you're basically a glorified cashier. Let's see, I've got your 2-for-1 Arizona iced tea, your Nicorette gum, your Take 5 bar. Is there anything else? Yeah, motherfucker, you forgot my Oxy. Here you go.
Yeah. I always, so like my mom's a pharmacist, and when I tell my friends what she does for a living, I always tell them that she's a drug dealer.
Nice.
Because it's like funny.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it's not inaccurate either. She's like a really ballin' drug dealer if you think about it.
I mean, she's more like a drug dispenser.
I agree. I do like the Pez dispenser. It's weird to think of my mom as a Pez dispenser, but now it's all I can think
Yeah.
about.
Just
Of
next
Oxy.
thing you're like,
Oh man, mom.
Do you get her like a Christmas Pez and like just laugh to yourself?
Yeah. I could.
good. You
Yeah.
totally should.
Yeah.
I mean, they have as many themes for Pez dispensers as Funko Pops, so I'm sure I could find her one that's hyper individualized, like Jamie from Outlander or something.
It's totally worth it. I love Pez dispensers.
Yeah. I had a principal that collected them, and like it does get to a point where it's like, wow, you've got like 1,000 Pez dispensers. This is like, it's fine, but it's
Yeah, but you're right. I mean, because we used to get them for our kids like every year and put it in their stockings.
It was more than every year though, because there was like Easter basket one, and yeah, many times a year. I'm pretty sure Baby Swan has like a Rubbermaid tote of them, or a good shoebox.
You
At
said
least
you got rid of them.
You said they were up in the attic.
Yeah, there's only like a shoebox. So it's not. She doesn't have any like super cool ones. They're all like holiday type.
I have the super cool ones. She gave me like the box set of the Kiss ones, and
No, those are upstairs.
nope, I have them in my office.
Okay,
So there might be 2 sets. I don't know.
Maybe there's 2 sets. I don't know.
And there's a Ninja Turtle. I have all 4 Ninja Turtles. in
Where
the
are
package.
those?
I have them in the package.
Okay.
Yeah.
Did we buy those at Disney?
No, I have had those since high school.
Oh,
How many times have you guys been to Disney?
We've been to Disney World once
together. Mhm.
I was at Disney like 2 summers ago for a work conference. And then we've been to Disneyland maybe 2 or 3 times.
Yeah, I still have not been to the Star Wars. I still haven't done that.
I was at the Star Wars last
I
summer.
really have to do that this year.
So, like, did you guys do that because you're like big Disney people, or did you do it mostly because of like the kids and stuff?
Yeah, for the children.
Are you big ride people?
I like roller coasters.
Mm-hmm.
The Disney rides, a lot of them, I'm not good at virtual reality or like motion sickness stuff, and a lot of them make me motion sickness.
Ooh, yeah, I also get motion sickness. So, but you like roller coasters.
Yeah.
So, did you guys do
Yeah.
like other amusement parks with the kids? Like, did you ever go to like Busch Gardens in Florida, or like Cedar Point or Michigan Adventure?
Yeah, we've been to Cedar Point, Michigan Adventure.
Is it worth going to Michigan Adventure?
I think
Yeah,
so. I thought
yeah.
Michigan Adventure was
Yeah.
actually really fun.
Michigan's Adventure is really fun.
Yeah. What's the best ride?
I don't remember what they're called.
I don't-
Whatever
yeah, I
the
was
world's
gonna say, I don't-
longest wooden roller coaster. That was fun. Isn't that what that is? Isn't that what they have there? The world's longest?
I think so.
Yeah, it's pretty
It's like
cool.
Shivering Timbers or something.
It's like Shivering Splinters.
Yeah.
Oh.
More like it. Did
Yeah,
you know
more like it?
when Michigan Adventure opened, it was like it had previously been an amusement park?
No.
Yeah. It was called I think it was like Deer Park or something.
Deer Park Funland?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that's what Michigan Adventure became.
Yeah.
Well, then I must have been there when I was a really little kid then, because I remember going to Deer Park Funland.
Yeah, it had like a little roller coaster track that would go through it, and then they built Michigan Adventure on it.
That's
And-
insane.
Because like after Class Action Park came out, I was like, I need to know everything about all amusement parks ever. And Michigan Adventure doesn't really have much bad stuff, but there was another park called like Pleasure Island or something. It was like a water park in Muskegon. And they had like one of those big tube things that went into the ground and like shot people out. And they had a bunch of people getting all tangled up on that.
Nice.
Yeah.
I wouldn't
Are
go
you
on that.
are you a big documentary watcher?
I do like documentaries. And I also wouldn't have gone on that ride.
Mm-mm.
Have you
Nope.
seen Blackfish?
No, should I?
Oh my God, it's so good. Swan, did you see that? Did you watch it?
No, I didn't.
Oh, I can't say it. It's so good. So Blackfish is about SeaWorld and the
Okay.
orcas and, the deaths caused by the orcas and why they would have caused the deaths, because obviously you should not keep orcas in captivity. And there's two different types of orcas, basically. There's ones that are like regional and there's other ones that like travel, and they should not ever be together. And so they were like breeding them together because the one that like forages for its food and like is always out there is kind of the more aggressive one. And so,
Ooh.
and they're supposed to live a really long time. They're supposed to live, I think, like up to 80 years, but in captivity, they die like in their 20s. So it's a really sad documentary. And you're like, well, no wonder these orcas accidentally killed these people. One of the scenes is terrible because this girl.
Don't give it all away.
All right, I'm just saying.
All right.
Are you going to watch it?
Yeah, I might.
Okay,
I
well,
might
then I
have
won't say anymore.
We might have to have movie
Blackfish.
night at the compound.
Blackfish. Very good movie.
Movie
Check it
night
out.
at the compound? Is
I
that
think it's on
allowed?
Netflix. I feel like it's on Netflix. Yeah, but somebody has to ride the bicycle to get the to get
the projector to
the
play?
projector to play. Somebody's got to ride the bicycle.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, Blackfish. Good movie.
I'll definitely check that out. I really enjoy documentaries, and like I don't necessarily throw or cast a wide net for the types of documentaries I watch. Like there are some that don't really have much appeal. Like even though I really appreciate the like octopus documentary that came out a few years ago, I never saw it because it like just didn't seem like something like that I would be interested in, even though it kind of is. Like I don't know. But like true crime in it all the way. If it's like a really crazy storyline about like making a movie or something like that, or I don't know.
Yeah, most of mine have something. The ones I watch are usually true crime. They're true crime or something like interesting, like the SeaWorld one, because that involves scandal, death from the orcas.
Have you guys ever seen the documentary Crazy Love?
I've
No.
heard of that, but I don't think I've seen it.
It is a wild documentary. It's like got the true crime aspect of it. It's got like people like it's kind of a love story, but it's also like the world's most wild breakup story. And I don't want to give up too much of it because it is such a captivating watch from beginning to end, and like the amount of twists and turns that you experience are perplexing, and at the end of it you're just kind of like, what the fuck? But it's worth the watch. It came out I think in the earlier 2000s. I don't know where you can find it. I saw it many years ago, but it's one of those documentaries that seeing it once, it was like, it stuck with me. It was like, this is why you watch documentaries for stuff like this.
So put that on the list.
Yeah,
What was the
great.
one with the Golden State Killer? Patton Oswalt's wife was like helped kind of solve. Is
I will follow you into the dark.
that what it was?
No, I'll be gone in the dark. Edit that out. That was a Death Cab for Cutie song. But I'll Be Gone in the Dark was a Michelle McNamara's book.
Yeah, that was a good documentary.
Yeah, we watched that. That was sad.
It is really sad, but it's like that whole thing is so wild that it was like she started True Crime Daily, and then she was the one who linked all of these regional murders together. And then she passed away before they caught him, but it was like her and Paul Holes working together, and then like genealogy, like
Mhm.
the submitting your
Ancestry.com, I think, right?
yeah, or something kind adjacent to it, like a similar service that worked with the police. But I don't think that Ancestry works with the police that way. I think 23andMe does. And so, anyway, it was like a distant relative, and they caught him. But that whole court proceeding was during the pandemic, so I think it's like, okay, you guys know who Fred Willard is?
Yeah.
Okay, so I heard, and like, I'm not going to fact check this, but I've heard it from multiple places that he got himself into trouble the same way that Paul Rubens did with the movie theater thing.
Okay.
And, like none of us ever heard about it because it happened on 9/11.
Sure. Yeah.
The 9/11.
There was something else that happened on 9/11 that was a major like murder trial or serial killer trial. I can't
Yeah.
remember somebody saying that. I remember one of the podcasts I listened to was saying that too.
I feel like that was like a recent episode of one that I listened to, but I can't remember which thing it was. There was a lot happening that just kind of got swept under the rug with all the chaos. And the same thing happened with the pandemic, because it's like he got caught, but then it was also like murder hornets and
Yeah. Monkeypox.
Yeah.
Which is still out there, by the way.
Yeah. I assume as are the murder hornets.
One would assume, but yet haven't heard anything.
Yeah, I mean, maybe they were just misunderstood hornets.
I don't think so. Oh my God, some of those clips that we get was insane. Ugh.
I don't know.
I don't want to encounter one. I don't want to take my chances.
No, they bite right through the suit. The one of the videos I watched, he was like all suited up with a bunch of stuff, and they bit right through it.
Bites or sting? Yeah.
Sting. Done staying. Stanged. They stanged right through. Stinged?
I got razor sharp stung.
Yeah.
Get your butt off me, weird bee.
Yeah,
that's what I would say if I encountered a murder hornet.
I would just chop its head off with my sword. They're big enough. Dead.
Yeah. One of David's friends lives in Japan, and they have like really big bees. They're I forget what kind they are, but they're like really cute, but they're like really deadly.
Right.
And sometimes they'll get into his classroom, and he shoots them with an air gun.
Damn, that's dope.
Yeah, I know, super cool. It's like, how do you aim with an air gun?
Well, I mean, you can't have a real gun.
No, you can't.
Japan.
No, and I mean, like, really, you shouldn't have one
in a classroom.
Well, you can't, I mean, a Nerf isn't going to take them out, and you got to do something.
A Nerf would just agitate this particular insect. I think it would just get more murderous.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it would actually have like a vengeance now.
Maybe if you could like throw a chocolate bomb at them.
Do you think they're allergic to chocolate?
No, I think they would be delicious.
Oh, they would just be happy.
Yeah, no, they would.
They would be chocolate coated
bees.
Oh.
And then you just pluck the stinger off and you eat them.
Mm-hmm. Chocolate covered bee.
But what if they're the ones who make the chocolate?
Or if they're gummy?
They make
That
honey.
changes everything.
If they're gummy bees,
they're gummy. They're actually
fine.
gummy bees. They're poisonous gummy bees, but if you don't get stung by them,
If you de-stinger them, you're
chocolate
safe.
covered gummy bees.
And like the scenario of something like that, like in Futurama, how they went to that one planet and they found like the little like chicken nugget things and they were eating them, and then they found out that they were actually like little baby things, but they were like so delicious. Like, do you think that you would have been part of the camp who like waited for more information before trying it, or do you think you would have tried the new fast food item that's so delicious from another planet?
Oh, I probably would have ate it.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah. I've eaten things that would make, goats sick.
I think I would wait until somebody else ate it first. And then if you told me it tasted good, like some things are just yucky and I don't want to be the first one to try
Swan,
it.
you'll eat things if they're bad.
I'll eat it. If I don't really like it, I'm going to eat it anyway. If it's bad, I'm not going to eat it.
Okay.
What is bad?
What is bad? I don't So I've never actually eaten it, so I can't really say it's bad or not. But like the squid with the head on it, that's bad. I don't want to eat it. Like with the tentacles and like the head and the nope.
Like
yeah,
the calamari.
yeah,
That's
like no, yeah.
I mean, it's like just very deep fried. There's nothing inside it really anymore.
Well, I guess if you deep fry it, maybe, but like when you see them, like the head and like they're not deep fried, they're just like.
You mean the ones where they like poke it and the squid like grabs the like the chopstick? Yeah, I've seen those. I think they're tiny octopus, aren't they?
Or maybe they're octopus. Yeah. I don't know. No, I can't do it.
I can't do it either. I mean, like, I feel bad for even liking calamari so much because octopi or octopus or whatever, they're so crazy. I mean, like the fact that they can like camouflage themselves not only in color but texture too, and that they have like a genetic makeup that is unlike anything else on the planet. Like they're like, they're probably from space.
Yeah, for sure. I think they are. It's kind of funny that we're talking about that because we went to Chicago 2 weekends ago, me and my friend Joe, to go see some comedy. And as we were talking there, I don't know where we were just having we talked the entire time. And he just said, he's like, if you had to pick one animal, species, whatever, that you think will evolve to be the ultimate species and replace the human race, what would it be? And I said octopus. I'm like, octopus.
Well, I mean, like, do you remember that one video that went all viral a few years ago where it was like this aquarium was really nervous because they had to clean out like the octopus tank and they had to put it in with a shark and they were worried about the octopus because like the shark was going to eat it. And then like overnight they have the video of the octopus like holding the shark upside down and like still, and like the way that they breathe is like a current in their gills. So by stopping the current, it's like drowned. It's like, that's really fucked up, dude. Like, how did you know to do that and then do that to your like aquarium friend? Like, it's like you definitely had a correspondence leading up to this, right? Like the octopus would tap on the window and the shark would like tap on its window and they had like a rapport. They were like,
they just baited him in, man. Because when he got in there, he was like, the shark swam up to him. He's like, brother, how's it going? And he's like, give me a hug.
Or maybe he was threatening to eat him the whole time. And so he was like, I'm going to just kill you first.
Yeah. The shark thought he was dealing with like an octopus, but really he was dealing with a fucking catfish.
Ooh.
Yeah, I think octopus are fascinating.
Yeah, they're super
pretty
interesting.
Freaking dope. And they are. From another world. Like the jellyfish.
Fuck jellyfish. I remember one time my cousin got stung by a jellyfish and he was being a particular asshole that year. So it was like the funniest thing that ever happened. But then I kind of felt bad because he was like crying and stuff.
Did you pee on him?
Like, suck it up, pansy.
I think that somebody did, but
it wasn't even where he got stung. Like,
I just feel like peeing on
him. I was going to pee on this guy.
I don't think anybody peed on him. I think that he just like cried it out and then went home and continued crying. We were children, so he cried a lot. But I won't name names. He was being a particular asshole that year.
He knows who he is.
It felt good. It felt good to see.
True crime question, just out of curiosity. Who do you like, what's the right word? What type of person enjoys true crime?
Well, I feel like a lot of the phenomenon recently has been like, okay, everybody really liked the ID channel before like the podcast became popular. Like there's a huge audience of people who were following like Forensic Files was like really popular. But then what was the one where it was like had like the host and he would be like, these are the people who are on the lam, like America's Most Wanted.
Yeah.
And like those shows were popular. I think that like the news, like the nightly news also had like a huge push for people to be interested in the crimes happening in their areas. And like now there's a huge audience of people who are interested in it because there's like all of these documentaries and podcasts coming out, which means that like the audience isn't just like one type of person, but it's most popular, I think, amongst women who are like in their mid 20s to like mid 40s or 50s, because like a lot of true crime happens against women. And so I think that there's like a curiosity about like who to look out for and like ways to like try to avoid these situations and stuff. Like a survival type of thing to learn from other instances that have happened. But also just like on the psychological level, it's like who could do these things and how could they do them? Like how could they ever justify doing these terrible things to people?
I think you're right. I think the demographic, and somebody does a joke about that too, where they kind of insult, where they're like, I love true crime. What, there's no middle-aged white women here to agree with me? Or
Yeah. I mean, I think that it's like a stereotype for a reason. Like I just interviewed with someone the other day, and that was something that we like super bonded over, was that like we're two women who just absolutely love true crime. And like we can go back and forth about like the cases that we've listened to and stuff like that. I think that there's a lot of men that are really interested in it. It's just like an interesting topic of discussion, and it's something that in our like society and culture in America is just like reinforced. Like we live in a violent country.
Yes, we
like,
do.
There are like things that happen every day that we can't necessarily understand or justify. And so like these are the things that we can listen to like try to wrap our head around like why things happen, even though it doesn't like really give you that answer.
Yeah. It's pretty interesting because when I was a kid, I read true crime books. They actually had them in our library, and you could get them pretty inexpensively at like Walden bookstores. And so I've always read that stuff, you know, where people are like, what the fuck are you reading? I'm like, reading this. And people thought that was odd.
Well, but then when you got older, and they started making books for younger readers, like the R.L. Stein books and the stuff that was popular when your kid was
okay,
younger.
But before that, believe it or not, there were, when I was in middle school, there was a series of books that were written that were straight up horror books that you could read, that they had like the entire list of them shit about demons, all kinds of stuff. And I was like, this shit is fucking cool. And so you read that, you know, you played D&D, you read true crime books. And so you're automatically absorbed into this, and it doesn't go away. Now, not everybody's going to do that. I mean, I remember people checking those books out and be like, nope, not going to read any more of those. And I read like all of them. So it's just a different type. It's interesting to see the type of people that kind of gravitate to that and find it interesting. I find it interesting that, and it's just like I find aliens interesting, and I find cryptids interesting. The downside with cryptids is that they're always disappointing you, so you can't watch a documentary on cryptids because they never fucking find anything. So that's annoying.
Oh my God, the most disappointing thing in the whole wide world is the movie The Mothman Prophecies. Like most of the time he's on the phone and they only show the Mothman for like a 10th of a second.
You got to read the book. It's even more disappointing.
Ugh. You keep saying that. I don't think I'm going to read that one.
It's just really about Men in Black. The whole book is about the Men in Black.
I mean, if only.
Now, I will totally tell you this. You really should go. If you like cryptids, you need to go to Point Pleasant. Point
Yeah.
Pleasant.
We
Fucking dope. That place is dope. It's got the Mothman statue. You go to the little Mothman museum. They've got a super sick freaking comic book store.
Oh, love that.
And they have a haunted hotel.
All of these things are checking lots of boxes. And like that's where like the sexy Mothman statue is, right? With, like,
Yeah, he's got a butt. His
He has a
butt is
booty,
awesome.
yeah.
He's got a six-pack, got guns. Yeah, a lot of people take pictures. Did you know this, Swan? A lot of people take pictures by his butt.
Yeah.
Like they put their face by his butt, or they'll put stuff in his butt. It's pretty crazy.
Yeah.
I mean-
Didn't you see the thing that was it? A butt piggy bank? The Mothman
Yeah,
butt
JD
piggy
sent
bank?
us that.
Yeah.
Yeah, he showed us that. But that's why I'm telling you, there's lots of pictures out there of people posing by the butt.
You know, we've got a cryptid here in Southwest Michigan.
We have a ton.
Yeah. I mean, like we've got like Dogman.
Dogman.
Mm-hmm.
We have a bunch. We have the Beaveman. The Beaveman's a cryptid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Officially.
Mm-hmm.
But you just revealed yourself.
I call myself a cryptid anyway.
I know.
So I didn't reveal anything.
Hmm.
It's up to the
So do
people
you think
to decide
that-
to figure out whether I truly am from this planet or not.
Do you think that you like true crime, or do you want people in general who like it, they like it because it's like controlled scary? Because, you know, you can control it with what you watch, and like it's scary, but it's
I think honestly, the reason why I like true crime, if I had to delve into the brain, my own personal brain, is probably because from a very early age, my parents would say fucked up shit to me whenever I was bad and say things like, "You're going to end up like your uncle."
And what happened to your uncle?
He was murdered.
Mm-hmm. So,
And so because of that, somehow they gave me a morbid fascination with murder, crime, all those other things. Because of course, then I'm trying to find out what happened to my uncle.
okay. So mine was the opposite. My parents told me there was vampires that lived under their bed, and I was scared to death of Time Life commercials and aliens and all of that, ghosts and all of that stuff. And I didn't start being okay with it till I was an adult.
Well, the virus got released, Swan, so the vampires are all gone.
Good.
The only one that's left is Blade,
Thank goodness.
because he was immune to the virus.
And he's like a hybrid.
Yes.
So,
He's the Daywalker.
mhm.
It was all okay.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, we can say what we want, but none of us have really checked out the scene in Sunnydale lately. I've been watching a lot of Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
God, I love Buffy.
Yeah. David really likes Buffy too. It started out as him being like, oh my God, you need to watch Buffy. And then now I'm like very much invested and really like it. We're like deep into season 2. And I've gotten other people to join the
Oh
party.
God,
with
I would
us.
totally do that. I don't even mention it because I would start watching it all over again.
I mean, you guys can join the party if you want to, or like,
We just got to get caught up.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
I still love the movie. The movie still stands the test of time. We made Summer watch that like 2 years ago.
What did she think?
She liked it.
She liked it. Yeah.
And the best part of that, one of the best part of that movie is the death scene with Paul Rubens.
Yes, it is.
It is so good. It is the best. He's, "Ugh, ugh."
Yeah, that movie is so good. I watched it all the time when I was growing up. My siblings really liked it. And like, I don't know what else that leading lady has done since then, but she was perfect for Buffy.
Mhm.
And like, Donald Sutherland's in it as like her watcher, even though I don't know that he ever said that he was her watcher. I only know that now because of the series, which it's like both of them are written by Joss Whedon, but they're like supposed to be unrelated. Like, even though at the end of the movie, which the spoiler alert, this is how Buffy the Vampire Slayer the movie ends. She burns down her gym, and then that's how the show starts. Is that she moves to Sunnydale, and like, because she just burned down her school's gym, they're supposed to not be related at all.
Yeah, interesting.
Yeah,
I mean, I just assumed they weren't, but you know.
Well, maybe that's his little like callback or, homage to the other, just to say. And then only people who watch the movie would know that.
Well, I feel like if you're going to start a TV show, okay, so anyway, if you start a TV show that's a spinoff of a movie, someone like Donald Sutherland's not going to do the TV show. He doesn't do TV. You're not going to get you're not going to get Donald Sutherland. Why they didn't cast the other girl to play Buffy, no idea. Maybe Buffy the Vampire Slayer was so successful that she's like, you know what, I want to try to do movies.
whatever. Donald Sutherland's character died in Buffy. It's like they had a clean slate. They could have used everyone.
True, that is true.
And,
Also,
like it wouldn't have had to worry about like what to do with Donald because he's dead.
that's also true. That is true.
Yeah, I don't
Forgot
know.
about that.
It's been a fun series to watch. It's like I guess I didn't realize that at the time it was meant to be camp. I thought it was something that took itself very seriously, and now I'm watching it and I'm like, there is no way that at any point of filming this show they were like, this is like 100% for real, not camp. And so like now that I'm invested in it, I've decided that I want to write Buffy the Vampire Slayer the musical. Well, the unofficial
Ooh.
musical.
Mhm.
And like David's put in his 2 cents about how it should go. And I don't know. I think that like I should do it as like the season thing. So it would like start out with like season 1 and kind of like making allusions to season 2 and like ending on a cliffhanger and like probing the community to ask for more.
Nice.
And then there'd be, Buffy the Vampire Slayer, the musical part 2. I don't know. I'm just thinking like years down the line. And there
Years
could
down
be-
the line.
yeah,
Years down the
like,
line. Nice.
such songs as like Slaying It and I mean
Suck
that's
It.
about, yeah.
Suck
Exactly.
it. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That's about as far as I've gotten with it, but I've only really had a few days to think about it. And I have to watch more of this series. David says I have to watch the whole series before I can start writing the music.
I didn't watch the whole
How many
series.
seasons is it?
It's only like
Yeah.
7 seasons.
I did not make it all the way through because by then I was an adult
Yeah, well, I am an
and
adult.
busy. Well, but I was like doing other stuff. Like we didn't even have TV because I was in Germany for the first 2 years. I was in the Army. We had an Armed Forces Network, so everything was movies. You had to go rent movies.
That's cool. Did you see any movies at the time that you were like, this is the best movie that's ever happened? I'm so glad that I got it on DVD while here.
No, because I would remember it if I did, and I do not remember it. We probably listened to music way more than we did anything else.
That's cool.
Because when I first got to Germany, I listened to like the Fat Boys and the Beastie Boys and just kind of rap in general. Like not hardcore rap, just kind of
Like
fun,
early
campy.
90s
Yeah, kind of
rap.
campy before it got like gangster rappy.
Yeah.
Well, Dirty Bastard was around, but he wasn't like gangster rappy. He was just an old Dirty Bastard, Two Life Crew, all that stuff. So I would listen to stuff like that until they said, you can't listen to that. You're not black. I'm like, because, half of our unit was white. There was like 3 brown men. And then the other half was black. And I was like, well, the black guys don't care if I listen. But apparently my white roommates and the people they hung out with them were like, you can't listen to it. So I was then exposed to things like my roommate.
CCR.
Oh, yeah. I mean,
Country.
a lot of folks like I had other friends that were not hillbillies that liked like alternative kind of stuff. So they introduced me to I already liked Nirvana, but stuff like oh God, now I can't even think of them.
Like Green Day. And
I already listened to Green Day. I was thinking like no, what the frickin'
Smashing Pumpkins.
nope. Yeah, Smashing Pumpkins was one. Yeah, probably.
The Cure.
I never listened to Queen before. My roommate had like a big box set of Queen, and we listened to that like all the friggin' time. And no, he was not gay. Swan.
I didn't even ask. I'm not gay and I like Queen.
Who sings Blister in the Sun?
Violent Femmes.
Yeah, Violent Femmes. I got
They're
introduced to them. I'm like, they fucking rock, dude. They're fucking awesome.
Yeah.
But of course, I still listen to my Walkman. I would listen to my rap. But
Pixies.
yeah, so Pixies, Rembrandts, all kinds of stuff like that. So
Yeah, that's a lot of exposure. And I feel like, did you get to like explore outside of your like unit and stuff? Like go to the cities in Germany and check out like their scenes and stuff?
yep, we would go there. Yeah, but mostly it was to try to pick up chicks. So
Word. Yeah. I mean, the music that I listen to is pretty generic. I listen to like indie stuff and like some punk and stuff, but I haven't really like I've gotten into some hip hop and some beats and stuff. When I was in middle school was during that like really like flashy hip hop era where it was like about like making money and like
sure.
boobs and butts and cars and stuff. Like one of the big anthems for all of our school dances was like it's getting hot in here or like get low and stuff like that. So I just like never got into it. And then when I worked for a record store a few years ago, I was exposed to A Tribe Called Quest and like digital Diggable Planets and like modern artists like Madlib who like took the old Blue Note albums and like made remixes of them and stuff. And there was one guy called Juicy the Embassy who like took all of the Kmart tracks, like the custom songs for the stores and stuff, and made an album called Attention Kmart Choppers. And it's like all of these things chopped together. It's really good. And like I think it's like Madlib and Freddie Gibbs did an album and they released all the instrumentals, and that kind of like also got me a little more hooked. And I grew up playing piano, so I had exposure to like other genres of music too. But I didn't really cling to things like jazz until I was working in the record store and like had the opportunity to listen to whatever random thing came in and had a fun cover. I don't really like Herb Alpert's music, but I do really like his covers. They are funny.
Presentation will get you places.
Yeah, he's the one that has like it's like the lady in the dress, but it's all whipped cream. It's like the big like.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's like yeah.
You've seen it.
I have seen
Everybody's
it.
seen
Yep.
it. It was like either in your dad or uncle's collection, and it's like, what is this? And it's like totally boring music.
Yeah, I mean, there's my favorite album covers probably growing up, and I won't say that I loved all of their songs. I randomly listened to it because I was more of, like I said, I liked rap and stuff. But probably the best album covers, seriously though, was Iron Maiden.
They did have some pretty good album covers.
Yeah,
I like their skeleton dude. I think like the Rolling Stones had some really good ones. Like, is it Sticky Fingers or whatever? Is that the one where it's like the zipper cover?
I don't know.
okay.
When they released it, that you could like open the zipper and stuff.
Oh, that's cool.
And then I feel like the Who had a couple of albums where it's like you would open it up and it would be like this huge piece of art, like a pop-up book. I learned a lot about like things you could do with album art and stuff. Like Jack White, for like modern artists and stuff, is like really nichey about the things that he does. Like one of the stories, like when he was working for a furniture company in Detroit, like he used to hide his 7 inches in the furniture, and I was like, that's a bad idea. Because like people will sit on it and then it will be broken, and then no one will ever know. And then, but he like continues to do cool stuff. Okay, like he continued to do stuff. Like one year he also put out an album and it was like infused with liquid, and the needle like punctured through a lot of the vinyl, and like ruined people's turntables.
Nice.
So that was like a really messy situation for him, no pun intended. And then but one cool thing that he did was he figured out how to use the little light on the record player for one of his releases to like make a hologram when it played. I thought that was really cool.
Jesus.
Yeah. And then there's like locked grooves, and those have like existed for a long time where it's like you get to the end of the song and then it just like keeps playing a little bit of the song over and over and over again until you go and like take the needle off.
Yeah, that's cool. I mean, you know how they do hidden tracks on
The secret song.
CDs and secret songs. I used to do that.
I know.
Back in the day on records too. And there's a secret song.
But now it's just like a lost art, the secret song. Like
some of them are really good. What's the one that the one that we really like, Swan, that has you wait till the very end and it's.
I was all by myself. No one.
That one's funny too. But there's another one that's actually like a really good song. Gets stuck in your head, and I can't think of what it is.
It's a whole song, like not just
I know at the end of I think it's like "Sing the Sorrow" or something, AFI's album that like made them blow up in like 2006 or something. That has a secret track on it, and that song is like good. If you like the rest of the album, it's like a good like banger and stuff. But like my brother's band in high school really liked the idea of this like novelty thing that is a secret track, and they had a song that was like 10 minutes after the last song ended. Like you had to really wait. Nice. And then it was a little song called Evan's Butthole.
Nice.
Like, I'm so glad I waited this long to hear this.
It was about that same era, like early 2000s, and I know what record you're talking.
We have it. I don't know which one it is. It's not Jimmy Eat World, is it? It's not. No.
Nope.
I feel like it was one of the bands that we got introduced to. I feel like it was something that GRD played a lot.
It was it was one of those albums that I would get from Target when they had like new releases before they were new, like or like upcoming bands. And they would put out this. There was a whole like rack that was $5, and that's where I got like Bowling for Soup and All American Rejects and those.
Yeah, I wish they still did that. I wish you could just get. I mean, you have to go to Grand Rapids to get inexpensive music.
Where do you go?
Last time we went, this was like quite a while ago. My son took us to their FI or whatever you call it. And they were having like a ton. They had like just racks and racks of CDs that you could go through, and they were like $5.
I wonder how long it's going to be before CDs make that serious comeback the way that vinyl has. Because like Vinyl is like a pretty hardy material. It
Mhm.
like handles itself and it can get relatively scratched and still play just fine.
Mm-hmm.
CD does not have that
No.
same leeway.
Mm-mm.
So I feel like things like a Green Day CD, like Dookie, and like
Mhm.
it's from like 1996, has to be one of the rarest things that exists.
Mhm.
Where it's like you can put this in any CD player and it will play. It will not skip. You can hit speed bumps with this particular CD and it will not skip.
I have that CD.
Does it skip?
I don't think so. I was pretty good at taking care of my CDs.
I wasn't.
Yeah.
Well, there's the other thing too is like tapes, everything is more expensive to produce than the CD. But the CD is the most expensive, except now, like probably vinyl is probably expensive. But for a while there, it was like CD is the most expensive thing to buy, but it's not the most expensive to make. It never made any sense. Like tapes are harder to make. Even a friggin' 8-track's harder to make than a CD. All that stuff is harder to make. And so now if you kept all your tapes, like I didn't have a ton, but I kept them all. And now I'm scared to play them.
Because they're so brittle.
Because they're like, if I play it, what if it snaps and it breaks and then I'm screwed, But I have some good ones. I have some old ones.
Yeah, but like with tape and stuff, don't you have like a little bit, like if you accidentally break the tape, then you can like kind of tape it back
Yeah,
together?
you can actually do that, yeah.
Yeah,
We've
because
done
like
that before.
with a CD, it's like a laser reading over codes and stuff. So if it's like, what trips me out is like you can like totally scratch up your CD and then you can get those things where it's like the CD buffer thing. And then you like take it through, and it's like buff, 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 buff. And then all of a sudden it like pieces together what it thinks that the code could be. And it's like, if you could do that the whole time, then why did we have to pull out this toothpaste shit? Like,
Sons of bitches.
yeah, I cannot tell you how many CDs I just sat with the little machine, just ring, and it's like goes around in a little circle, and then you take a cloth to it, and then all of a sudden, boom, you've got your Counting Crows CD back.
Yeah, you know what I don't want to happen, but I feel like it's going to happen, Swan?
What?
Is I really do want to get a nice record player, but it's so hard to do because if you get one that's vintage, they're fucking expensive and you don't know which ones you're supposed to get because there's ones that have like tubes and all that other stuff. And you're like, holy fuck, which one do I get? And then I'm afraid that I would get a bunch of records I really want to listen to and then never listen to them because I don't have time.
Like, okay, this is something that I can actually give you some pretty solid advice. There is an Audio Technica that like is probably still only like $150, which I know is a lot to spend on a record player that you're like, I may or may not use it a super ton. But this would be the one that has the most universal needle type. So if you need to get a replacement, you can go to like whatever audio store you bought it from or like Guitar Center or a record store. Those little Crosley players are not super great. And like most of the time you have to replace the needle right away and they have really specific needles. And Victrola record players are the same way. And those ones can be kind of those all-in-ones that have the radio and then they have like a CD player or something and then the record player on top. But Audio Technica is like a really good brand and they have record players. Like when I worked for the record store a few years ago, they were only like $100, but everything is a little more expensive now. So I'd imagine that like the one that we were selling for 100 is now like around 150, but it could still also just be 100. And it's a really solid player, but you do need like the receiver and the speakers and stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's like weighted right and stuff. Like some of the players that you can get, like the Crosley ones and the Victrolas, are like $60 and they'll like get the job done, but they can also like kind of ruin your stuff with the needles that they use. And if you're spending some of your like really prized vinyl, which sometimes you'll be seeking something out and it will be kind of rare or kind of expensive, you don't want your player to be the thing that destroys it. Right. You want some like crazy act of God. Like you were like carrying the vinyl, you slip on a banana, it goes flying in the air. That's how it dies. Because that's at least like a good story instead of like stupid dumb needle scraped across it.
Yeah.
Yeah, back in like the 70s. So this is like weird random fact that I know. My dad used to collect vinyl records, but they used to come with 2 records. Some of them used to come with 2 records, like the What You Play record and then the fancy record that you don't play. That's decorated, usually like they're painted or they're covers. Or you bought two. You had your I Play It record, and then you bought your one that's your special one that you don't play that. Because we used to have, I had a Fisher Price record player back in the day when I was a kid, and was only allowed to play off of certain records.
I mean, kids are rough with records. I had a turntable set up in my bedroom when I was in high school, and my aunt had given me like all of her old stuff, and it was really a cool collection. But one of the albums that she gave us was Chipmunk Punk, which I wasn't like necessarily attached to because it's horrible. Like the Alvin and the Chipmunks doing like I Want to Be Sedated and stuff. But like my cousin who was like a little kid came in and he started trying to like DJ with that. Yeah. It was like huge scratches in it and it destroyed the needle on the player and stuff. Kids are rough.
Yeah.
They don't care.
Yeah.
I should have given him that for his graduation present. Like, look at this fucked up album. You did this.
I'm glad I got stung by a jellyfish.
No, it's a different cousin. I have a couple of cousins.
They're all assholes.
My grandma had a really cool record player, and she would let us use it, let us use her records. We never fucked them up. And it is at my parents' house. And probably weighs like 1,000 friggin' pounds. It's, it's hidden in a cabinet.
Mm-hmm.
So the speakers are built in. You slide back the wooden top, and that's where the record player is. And it just, they stopped using it because it needed a new needle, and my dad never got one.
So it's probably sitting there pristine because all it needs
It's definitely
is a
not
new
pristine
needle.
because it was in my brother's room, and he was always going to fix it.
Oh.
And so it just sits in there. It's still there. I mean, it's still there. I don't actually know if my grandma's records are in there. I should actually go and look and see if they're in there. Because, of course, she liked honky tonk. That was my grandma's thing. She liked honky tonk. She loved, God, what the hell was that guy's name? He was always on TV selling his records. It was ridiculous. My grandma had a whole bunch of them. It'll come.
She fell for it. She bought them because
he actually was really good. Yeah. Slim Whitman. That's who it was. And no, she liked him, and he actually was quite good. Swan.
Okay.
Yeah.
Had a good voice. But yeah, he sold all this shit on TV. People just bought him. Whatever. But I would like some classic rock and rock from my time frame. That'd be sweet.
Yeah. I mean, unfortunately, like, I don't know when your like prime time for rock was, but if you're like my favorite records aesthetically were like Iron Maiden and stuff. Those ones they still like maintain their value. Like they're not like crazy expensive unless it's like a first edition of like a really popular album. But things like Michael Jackson's Thriller, like unless it's like a first edition, which is rare, because it's like it was like a platinum album, so there's like 1 billion of them in rotation, and it's still like a $20 record, even if it's in kind of haggard shape, but it's easy to find and stuff. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't imagine Grandma had any of the rock music that you liked so much.
No, her stuff was all country-ish type stuff.
So like
my parents didn't have that many records. Most of the records my parents had, they only had like a couple because they switched to 8-tracks. So they had a bunch of 8-tracks.
They were like, this is what's going to take off.
Yeah. Yep. They had a bunch of them.
That's cool.
Like they had like 3 Dog Night and all that other stuff. And yeah, 8-tracks, tons of them.
I didn't realize how much I knew by 3 Dog Night. It was like they were in town recently.
What?
And
they're still alive? Holy shit, they're in their 80s, gotta be.
Some of them are. I think that one of them died recently or maybe like stepped down from the band. So like always, people were like, well, I'm not going to go and see some cover band. And it's like, dude, it's like still 3 of the guys. And like,
crazy.
They are so old. It's like only one of the original members, but like the other 2 guys that still are like up there doing the harmonies and stuff have been in the band since like the 80s. So I'm like, they're as OG as it can get.
Yeah.
That's insane.
Yeah, they have a lot of really like good songs that I didn't realize. It's like them and Bare Naked Ladies. I was like, I know a lot of these
I love Bare
songs.
Bare Naked Ladies are awesome.
I saw them when I was in high school.
Did it change everything?
They were really good. They're good live. Yeah.
Did you crowd surf?
No. We were in we had box seats because my uncle had it from his work.
Oh, that's cool. You went with yeah. What was the weirdest show you went to your parents with?
The first show that I went to, this was a long time, was the Grateful Dead.
That's fun.
Mm-hmm.
How did they explain the pot everywhere?
It was already around my life from when I was a kid. But
Okay.
yeah. So, but I was I don't know, even want to second grade maybe ish.
I don't think my parents ever took me to a concert.
So that was
Yeah, they didn't, because the first concert I ever went to that I remember that I ever went to was to REO Speedwagon, and I was 16, and I was there with my girlfriend.
That's a fun show. Where were they playing?
It was at the county fair in Lansing.
Where was your first show? Was it here? Are either of you not this? If you want to edit this out, but are either of you from this area?
He is. I'm from over by Detroit. So mine was at what is the Pine Knob or the music DTE Music Theater or whatever it is now. It was,
Yeah.
I
saw
grass seating. Cool. Very cool.
I saw Peter Frampton there. Are you from the Lansing area?
No, well, I mean, I'm from Bellevue, so I'm closer to Battle Creek.
Okay.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Not really.
Not really.
Not a cool town. Redneck town.
Where are you from?
I grew up in Brighton.
Oh, so
okay.
over I grew up in Warren.
Yeah, not far from each
Not
other.
your early days.
Not my early days was Detroit.
You from Detroit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Best concert you ever saw?
Best concert I ever saw. Well, I mean, I think that Chapel Roan was pretty fun recently. I saw her in June. But
Did you now?
The same day as our comedy show that competed.
We went
with
head to head with Chapel Roan. Still did good.
Sold out our yeah.
We didn't sell out.
No, we didn't sell out our show, but it was
we did good.
We did well, even with it being right down the road from.
Heck yeah. I mean, the energy was in the air that night. Every show did pretty well. And that one sold out really, really quick. I think that we put the tickets on sale, and within the first day they were all sold out, and then they were on the resale thing or something. But I felt really bad how many people wanted to go that couldn't. And Chapel is very much for the Gen Z kids and stuff right now, and I don't know. But it was a really fun show because it was the first one that I went to where everyone she's this new artist, and when we had announced the show, no one that I worked with except for the person who booked the show really knew who she was. And then a few weeks after we announced it, she put out her Tiny Desk session or whatever, the NPR thing, and that blew up. And then she was doing the hot to go dances on TikTok, and that blew up. And then she played at the theater, and then a week later played Lollapalooza, and it was 50,000 people were there just to see her. And then she played the Governor's Ball a week later, and that was 80,000 people there just to see her. And then they had to move around the stages for Bonnaroo and stuff. So it was but anyway, everyone at the show knew every single word to every single song that she sang. And that was just a surreal thing to see live. And then other than that, I saw Guar, and that is a really fun show.
What about you, Swan? Most memorable or favorite? You can have more than one. Doesn't have to be one, because I know for me, I have more than one.
Well, probably my most memorable one was I saw No Doubt in Bush, back in the 90s when they were together. So, and that was pretty cool. And then we saw Bush again, what?
Yeah, that was cool.
10 years
that
ago.
Was a tiny room too. Got to be
What
right
is that?
next
Was
to
it
Gavin Rossdale.
The intersection or whatever. It was up in Grand Rapids and closed, but he came out into the crowd and was right by us.
Oh, that's so awesome.
It was pretty. Yeah, that was pretty cool.
Still jacked.
One of the craziest concerts that I saw Pantera, and people died in that one. That's crazy in the mosh pit. But
oh dang.
Who else does a really good show?
I'm one of those people. If I see somebody once, if I have very few people, very few groups on my bucket list.
I mean, we saw AC/DC. That would have, if we would have not have like the world's crappiest tickets, that would have been a great show. Before
still awesome.
It was still a good show, but we were like way up at the top of
I was very happy. You couldn't have told me that we were.
Yeah,
I wouldn't have cared. I enjoyed that show. Yeah.
What about you, Beaveman? What was the craziest show you've been to?
Crazy. I don't think I've ever been to a crazy show, but my most memorable one or my most favorite one, I have 3 because they were my bucket lists. But probably the one that most people are most jealous of me for seeing is probably The Cure.
Oh yeah.
And that was awesome because he, near the very end, Robert W. Smith came out with a 12-string guitar and played it, and it was fucking dope. And then the other one is, of course, AC/DC and Tom Petty. When I got to see Tom Petty, I didn't realize how good of a guitar player he was until I saw him live.
I would have loved to see that.
Fuck, was he awesome.
Yeah, I think that I'm more jealous that you got to see Tom Petty. Like, The Cure is still actively playing, but Tom Petty, you'll never be able to see again.
Yeah, well, the one that I always kick myself about, and I never had the opportunity anyway, but I always wanted to see the Beastie Boys.
Yeah.
And I never got to see, I mean, obviously I was never going to see Nirvana.
Oh, I did get to see the Beastie Boys my senior year.
Good for you.
Sorry, you just reminded me of that.
Fucking you.
Sorry. I saw a lot of concerts in high school because my uncle had his company.
Well, you're from Detroit, and you're in Detroit. You're right there.
He had box seats to a bunch of places from his work that, and no, if they were like Bare Naked Ladies or like Pantera or just random ones, they're like, nope, I don't want to see that. So we took them. So, yeah.
Yeah. My, one of the weirder shows that I went to was like my mom wanted to go and see Avenged Sevenfold. So we went and saw Avenged Sevenfold as like a family, and like Buck Cherry opened, which was like fun. Like, I don't think that she was prepared for what they were serving.
I'm a crazy bitch.
Yeah. And like while they were playing that, there was like softcore porn playing behind them. And my mom's like, what is even happening? And it's like, you know what's happening. And, like, people were like smoking cigarettes all around us. She wasn't happy. But
oh, go ahead.
Oh no, you go ahead.
No, go ahead.
No, I'm done.
Where did we see? We had Avenged Sevenfold open for one of our concerts that we saw.
Did?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't remember.
I don't remember.
I saw Nickelback. That was, I don't care what anybody says. I like Nickelback.
Maybe that was them. I think they opened for Nickelback.
Nickelback wasn't even the main band.
Or
wasn't it? Wasn't there like 3 bands?
Yeah, there was 3 bands,
but they were all like
semi-decent
band. Like, who was the main band? I don't think it was Nickelback.
I don't know.
Maybe it was.
That was. Yeah, I saw Godsmack. That was pretty good.
Memory does not serve me well.
I saw Weezer and the Pixies. Weezer was good.
We saw 30 Seconds to Mars open for Puddle of Mud. That was fun.
That was good.
I liked that venue. That was a lot like the State Theater.
That is the Royal Oak Music Theater.
That was cool.
Yep.
Oh yeah, that one's a really beautiful theater.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I feel like we just went and saw the big Green Day show that's been going around, and so it was like the Lindas opened it. We missed them because we were traveling from the west side of the state to the east side of the state to see them at Comerica Park. And then it was Rancid and the Smashing Pumpkins and Green Day.
Ooh.
And Green Day was playing. It was like an anniversary tour for their 2 releases, like 30 years since Dookie was released, 20 years since American Idiot was released. So you better believe they played the entirety of both and sprinkled in some other songs too. It was like 3 hours of Green Day. Yeah. It's like, how much do you really like this band? And honestly, I went there to see Rancid, and then we missed Rancid's set too.
Damn.
And I was like, oh man. The Smashing Pumpkins actually did play the bangers that everybody knows. And sometimes Billy can be quite temperamental about those types of things. And he's like, I want to play what I'm feeling tonight. And it's like, just feel like
fuck you
tonight or whatever. So I was like glad that he did that. And like, I guess that it was like all original members except for Darcy were there. So like Jimmy Chamberlain was back on the drums, and like the other guitarist was there, and then they had someone filling in for Darcy.
And now it's time for Swan's Manic Minute.
It's one of the most insanely idiotic things I have ever heard. At no point in your rambling, incoherent response will you even consider the rest of us. Everyone in this room is now done. for having listened to me. I'm bleeding! There will be no point. And may God have mercy on your soul.
People who make themselves too comfortable in fucking public. Isn't it too comfortable? Way too much confidence? I don't know. Maybe it's just fucking entitlement. I don't know. On an airplane last summer, sitting there, I sit down in my seat, all comfy. This dude sits next to me, random dude, probably a little bit younger than me, sits down, says hi. I put my earpods on so I don't have to fucking listen to him. He proceeds to sit down and take off his shoes, wearing gym shoes, no socks. And I was like, oh no, dude, we're not going to do that. We're not going to do that on a plane. That's nasty. I don't want to smell your fucking feet. Shut the fuck up. Put your shoes on. And he did. But okay, why was he doing that? Anyway. And then the other day in the bathroom with this lady, I go in the bathroom and clearly my mind is going in there to go to the bathroom. And she's in there taking a fucking shit and go like, oh, my stomach hurts. Oh, and just sitting in the stall next to me, giving me a rundown on how much she does that. She gets out of the bathroom before I do. I come out, she's washing her hands. She's like, I don't know what I ate. My stomach's just not feeling well. What the fuck? I don't need to know. I don't need to know. Go the fuck home if you got stomach problems. I don't know. I don't need to know about it. But anyway.
All right. Shit talk.
Shit talk.
Shit talk. That was manic for sure. That was Swan's Manic Minute. You're welcome. Okay, so that was fun. We had to put that back in. We had to insert that in post. I just was waiting for like a natural pause. Not a lot of pause. We had a lot of chatting. So here you go. And now back to our pre-recorded session. Interesting. So if you had to describe, and we're not going to drag it out too much longer, but I did want to ask this question because you go much longer than an hour and a half, people stop listening. But anyway.
They're intrigued right now. They're like
what
on the edge of their seats.
Okay, what do you now? I'm assuming that you also write original music because I haven't.
Yeah.
Because I think that at the Halloween party, I mostly just heard.
Cover songs. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. What is how would you say what your style of music is?
My music is like a little bit of sad pop, a little bit of cute grunge.
It's a good way of describing it.
Yeah.
Sad pop, cute grunge.
Mm-hmm. I mean, like, in all seriousness, it's like changed a lot over the years. Right now, it's kind of in its shoegaze era. So,
what the fuck does that mean? Somebody explain shoegaze to me.
It's like guitar. So, like, I play the keyboards in the band and stuff, and like our music is actually, kind of like synth driven, not like pretty synth tones, but like that's like the foundation of the song. But David is a big pedal head, and he likes all of these like really ethereal sounding tones and stuff. And he has like 50 pedals. So shoegaze is kind of like a pun about having to look at your feet the whole time because you're like triggering all of these different pedals.
Okay.
Yeah. And like people describe the Smashing Pumpkins as like a shoegaze band, even though they're not. Like there's like kind of a sound that goes along with it that's like the Cocteau Twins or like I don't know. There's like a whole bunch of bands that fall under the umbrella. People are like, oh, the Smashing Pumpkins because he uses a bunch of pedals. And he does, but they're not. He uses so many pedals that it's like the other guitar player has to trigger his pedals.
Because we saw one at the local theater, and that's what they were supposed to be, but we didn't know what the fuck that meant. I'm like, I don't know what the fuck shoegaze means. And they didn't even look at the audience. They just looked at each other and played. And so I'm like, and we were like sitting there, I was talking and that's what we're like, I'm like, does shoegaze mean they're just looking at their fucking feet and not looking at the audience because they're not even facing us?
Yeah, that's exactly what it means.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Nothing more deep than that. Good. Okay. Well, I got it.
Yeah. I mean, like, David is like the shoegaze guy. He's not going to look at the audience very much, but the rest of us are. And we do write mostly original music. Like in our like usual shows, it's all originals except for like maybe one cover because we like to do something that other people can like sing along to. So like right now we're doing Dreams a lot by the Cranberries. It's a nice simple song and it's fun to sing along to and everybody loves it. But then otherwise we just play our sad bullshit.
Yeah.
Scream it at people.
And you have a lot of people now that know your songs and they sing along.
Yeah, some of them are really simple. Like there's a song that we end every set with that's called I'm Going Down. And it's just, I'm going down, I see a light, it shines so bright, I'm only seconds away. And then there's like one other line in the whole song. So it repeats the same thing over and over again. And by the end of it, people are like getting really into it because it's like a heavy song and it's kind of cathartic and you can like kind of scream and let it out and all of this stuff. But
That's cool.
yeah, I mean, I've been doing this particular project for like 17 years. So I hope that there's like at least one person who knows some of the words to one of the songs.
Nice.
Hopefully. Fingers
Yeah.
crossed.
I mean, we used to go see this local band all the time, and all of their fans know all their songs.
Mm-hmm.
Like we all know all their songs, and then they would always play at least one cover song.
Yeah.
And then of course, we know all the songs, and they would always play a song that pretty much everybody would know. Like they used to when they would play like Fat Bottom Girls, and like they'd play something that everybody knows. And then it's kind of weird because then they moved, and then they were like, during the pandemic and all that other stuff. And then they ended up going to Nashville. And I just wonder in Nashville, does everybody know their songs like they do up here? So it's kind of a, and then of course they went, what are they now, Swan? Southern rock or something, country, whatever. They went from being rock.
Like pop country. I don't even know. Country, I don't know. Ballad country, something. I don't know.
Do you foresee yourself going country at some point?
I don't know. I mean, I'm not going to turn down any opportunity. There's a lot of money in country music, but at the same time, it's not something that I've ever really like grasped to. Like when I was a kid, my grandma, who was from Mississippi, and I would get into a fight. Like I would come over to her house because she had cable, but on Saturdays, I would want to watch Snick, which was like Saturday night Nickelodeon and stuff that had like Are You Afraid of the Dark, all that and stuff. She would want to watch Grand Ole Opry. We would really lock horns over this. So it's like to this day, I'm still very not for country music. But I also have seen like this weird progression with punk artists where like my like roots and stuff really started in like the 90s pop punk era with like Fat Records and Hellcat Records and stuff like that. And a lot of those artists are becoming like alt country where they're not doing like the showboaty country stuff that's like pop country on the radio, but they are doing the stylization and kind of like outlaw feel.
Wow. Like Willie Nelson style.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, I love Willie Nelson, but not everybody can do that.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, like some of them are doing a good job because they're like good lyricists, but like country music is something that's like, it's a little bit easier because like, have you, like you get it. It's like writing comedy is really hard. Like figuring out what makes people laugh is really difficult, but figuring out what makes people cry is really easy. And a lot of country music is like, sad songs about like loss or like moving on or bad breakups or something like that. And yeah, it's kind of easy. Yeah, there I said it, world. You heard
Country
it.
music is easy.
Yeah.
Just follow that formula.
I mean, there
is a formula.
Yeah, I mean, there was one of the comedians used to make fun of that. Of course, nobody can steal that joke, and I can't remember who it was, but he said it. He's like, "Oh, my dog,
I lost my
my wife
dog.
left, my dog died, my truck broke down." Country music song. Bam.
Well, and it's like, I don't know. It's weird because you look at the songs where it's like honky tonk badonka donk or like save a horse ride a cowboy or something, and you're like, who wrote this? Who wrote this? Why? And then you look at the writer's credits and it's like 5 people wrote that song. 5 great minds came together to produce this song. I feel like I'm going to get in so much trouble for saying that.
No, anything you say on this podcast is bullshit. That's like our thing. Don't believe anything we say.
Anything
She's
we
like
say.
making it up right now.
Yeah, I'm just not feeling it. I just came, like, I was supposed to go to Eccentric Day, but instead I hung out with people that were drinking wine. And I don't drink wine, but I definitely vibe off of the energy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There you go.
Mm-hmm.
I said it.
You said it. We said it. We all
But,
said it.
but I grew up with non-pop country. So, you've got the outlaw country, and which, that brings me of Archer. Outlaw country. But that's what I grew up with, or honky tonk type stuff. And that stuff was fun. And I would even tell Swan, I'm like, fuck that. When people will listen to pop country, I'm like, fuck this isn't country. Like, I love Johnny Cash and all those things. And then I hear the poppy country. I'm like, fuck this is not country. So it's a total different thing for me when I listen to it. To me, it's pop. It's just pop music.
Yeah.
Which I'm like, if you're gonna do pop music, do real pop music. At least then I'll like it. But pop country, don't like it.
Yeah, like there was a point with my grandma where she stopped listening to the country music stations on the radio because it was like, and like I think that Garth Brooks was like even before how bad it got with the pop country elements, where it's like this is just pop music with some like slide
Twang.
guitar
There's
behind
Some
it.
twang.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
But she was like, Garth Brooks is too pop for me.
Mhm.
And yeah.
I could see that.
Mhm.
I don't think my grandma would have liked Garth Brooks.
So your grandma's definitely not a Swiftie.
No.
Well, but when Taylor Swift started writing me, when she was first doing music, when she was a country music star, I loved her music because it was ballad stuff, and that was about heartache, and she was a talented kid.
You don't like
But now she's poppy.
no.
No, I mean, she's been poppy for what, like 15, 20 years now? I mean, it's been a while.
Yeah.
So, I mean, good for her. I mean, she's like one of the richest people and she made a career out of it. But I was sad when she went pop
Yeah.
because I was like, oh, she's such a talented. I mean, like her songs would make you fucking, like you said, the cry. You're like, goddamn son of a bitch.
Yeah. And I mean, like, her stuff is still good and stuff. I'm not personally a Swiftie. I when it comes to like the very rich music artists, I'm like a huge Dolly fan. I feel like she's done such a good job of like making money and then like providing like a totally different landscape to the community around her and stuff. Like the things that she's done for the small community that she grew up in and like where like Dollyland or whatever is just awesome to see. But I don't know. Taylor Swift hasn't necessarily done any of that, but then I haven't really looked into her philanthropy at all.
Well, she definitely takes care of her people.
Yeah.
And she definitely donates a shitload of money. So
Okay. Well,
good.
then I
So
take
good
it
for her. So good for her. No, I mean, I'm like, I'm not a Swiftie, but it's weird. I still root for her. I'm not a Swiftie, but I'm like, I root for her because I really liked her when she was a kid.
Yeah.
It's like Jewel, like you still root for Jewel. Now she's coming back, I guess. Jewel is, but you root for them when they're like, these are singer-songwriters and they're doing a great job playing that acoustic guitar. So I like that stuff, but you gotta go your own path, whatever.
Yeah.
I don't have any musical talent, so I don't give a shit. There you go.
There you go.
There you go.
There you go.
All right, we're
You
gonna
said
wrap
it.
this. We're gonna wrap this shit up. My gosh. So what we've learned is that she's musically talented, likes true crime, in a hardcore documented, whatever.
And she's the president of KNAL.
KNAL, and she likes KNAL.
She likes KNAL.
It seemed weird, but we'll just go with it.
Go with it.
Do you have anything to promote?
Actually, I do. I'm starting my own podcast called Katy Needs a Podcast. It's actually like a revamp of an old podcast, but with a new idea. And then if you're in the Kalamazoo area and you're interested in hearing my sad bullshit live, I am playing at Bell's on January 31st of 2025 with Yellow House and Hollywood Makeout. And it's going to be my birthday and it's going to be a really good time.
Fuck yeah. That's
Yeah.
awesome. Sweet. All right, then. I have nothing to promote because this comes out in 2 weeks and I don't even know what's going on. Yeah. Well, it's not coming out in 2 weeks for you guys. It'll be your normal week. But for me, I know it's coming out in 2 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
Don't get confused by that.
Mm-hmm.
So that's it for me. Adios. Pooch fuck goes.
And from the Swan, we have our Slap Your Tail comedy open mic every third Thursday at the Dormouse Theater in Kalamazoo. The next one will be December 19th. If you're a comedian, you want to be on, reach out to us. The next one after that will be January 16th. And then we have our next show on Friday, January 24th at the Dormouse Theater in Kalamazoo. Bye. From the Swan.
Thanks for having me.